Have you ever felt so overwhelmed that life is pulling you in so many directions and you haven't had that time with yourself where you want to be very clear about what you want to do, where you want to put your energy in, where you want to put your time in? You just keep getting distracted and pulled in different directions and wasting your energy sometimes. Simply not prioritizing what is a priority for you. This happens to me as well. And I remember that one of the things that came up to my head as an idea was just writing down the most important things of your life. And what I mean is, I decided to write down the 3 to 4 most important things about my physical health. Then I wanted to have at least the 3 most important things about my mind and personal growth, purpose and work, relationships and social life, finances, my lifestyle, legacy and impact, time management, and even my values. I wrote them down just so that I can know what my priorities are. And so for physical and mental health, I said exercise, eat well, rest properly, like go to bed at the same time if you can, and wake up at the same time every day. Have a routine. That is so healthy. If you don't have a routine, you're gonna have a hard time feeling well about yourself. You have to have a routine in order to feel like your mental health is right. And so I said, manage my stress and emotions, avoid harmful habits. Basically, I just made the list and the most important things about what matters to me. And so in my mind and personal growth, I said, keep learning and improving your skills. Read, think critically, and stay curious. I also added work on emotional intelligence. I added self-awareness, empathy, and communication. And then I wrote down purpose and work. Have meaningful goals, career, passion, projects, creative pursuits. Be disciplined, work hard, and stay adaptable. Find ways to monetize your talents or skills. And all of this is like having guidance for yourself. By knowing this, you know what you have to be doing. Then I wrote down relationships and social life. Surround yourself with good people. Really important that you surround yourself with people that has goals, that are not gossiping, that are not having very harmful habits, or habits like you will feel really uncomfortable doing habits that you're not proud of in front of people that don't accept that is not normal to them. If they are people that go to runs every day, that are reading books, and you just want to do alcohol and drugs or party, is like a completely different environment, right? Like you should be surrounded by people that makes you feel better or lifts you up, and it has a goal. I also added to be present with your family and with your friendships. Don't treat these things as a chore or as, oh, this is not bringing me money or things like that. But connect with your family. Be present and connect, and you won't regret about that. And you won't regret about doing it. And then I added set boundaries and protect your energy. So important, because you only have a certain amount of energy throughout the day that it should be putting into places that matter to you than in things that are just pulling you away from what your goals are. Then I added finances and independence. Save, invest, and avoid debt. Build multiple income streams if possible. Be mindful of what you consume and learn financial literacy. Then I have your environment and lifestyle. Live in a place that supports your well-being. Keep things organized and minimalistic. I try to do that. When I first arrived from Argentina to here, I noticed, since we were in an Airbnb for almost 3 months, I noticed that we were using the same clothes over and over, but we didn't have that much stuff and everything was already provided. The only thing that made a little bit of a difference for me was that if I had to design my environment, I really like decorating it and making it cozy. And this house, we lived in this house before, and this is the first time that we're ever like investing and making it nicer. Like I remember we used to have a bed on the floors. We had the bed on the floors for like a good amount of time, and we didn't have a side of the tables, no, bedside tables. And for me that was extremely annoying because I like having my books, my light, and my journals next to my bed, and also like pens, and sometimes I have lip balms and stuff, because I want to make habits obvious for me and easy and reachable if it's a habit that I want to implement. And that's what I do with reading. And so when we didn't have those things, for me it was a little bit harder to keep up. So when we didn't have those things, for me it was harder to keep up with the habit. And all of this I learned it with Atomic Habits. That's a really good book if you want to make a habit that you like. If you want to make it happen more, you make it obvious. Make it very obvious. And so for me, having it obvious, easy, and always in the same spot works perfectly for me than just like making it harder for myself. And also says, in your environment and lifestyle, be mindful of what you consume when it comes to content, the news, and social media. 2025 was a very specific year for me because it was the year that I decided to delete Instagram and finally do one of the things that I've been wanting to do for such a long time, which is YouTube. I always had like this intuition that I needed to create a YouTube channel where I could either do vlogs or talk. It's the best things that I decided to do. Then I noticed that I'm a different communicator than the mentors that I watch. And my husband, who's also a YouTuber, and he actually inspired me a ton to start my channel because he became very consistent, persevered a lot. I remember when he used to not get that many views, and now he's blowing up. But he has his way to communicate and I have my own way to communicate. And so he would tell me like, make your videos this way, you should do this and that. And I have tried it, but I feel more comfortable when I communicate the way I am. And I like communicating, sometimes improvising or simply like talking. And I'm more of like an emotional communicator, or like sometimes I don't have much structure. And sometimes I like having a structure for my videos. Sometimes I don't. I just want to like say what it comes in. And this video is actually kind of like that because I found that this thing, and it was just for me. This was for me, but I wrote down, make a video out of this. This is something that I told myself in the past. And if I told this to myself in the past, it's because probably it inspired me to make this whole list of things that matter to me. But I do notice that it was so long ago that maybe the ideas that I had in that moment are not the same ideas that I have now. So now I'm just sharing what I did. And then I have number 7, which is your legacy and impact. Help others when you can. Serve. Like have a life of service and adventure. Leave something meaningful behind. Art, ideas, mentorship. That's what I wrote. And for me, when I make these videos, I feel like I'm talking to my younger self. And then I have be a role model for integrity and kindness. Basically, like always live up to your values. Like always show what your values are so that other people understand why you are that way. I think that what makes your brand is having values. That's it. Like showing your values, like what you go for. Integrity, honesty, empathy, anything, responsibility. And then it says, stand for something like your beliefs and build connections that influence people positively. That's pretty cool. I forgot that I wrote all of this. And then for the last one is time management. Prioritize what truly matters, which I would recommend anybody to prioritize what truly matters to you. Like create a schedule that you're happy with, not a schedule that you can't wait to be done doing tasks so that you can do what you like. Like try to create a schedule and a routine that helps your nervous system. It doesn't make it like go crazy, or your cardiovascular system as well, you know. And then you have avoid procrastination and distractions. That's something that I still deal with. So this is something that I can work on more. Learn to say no to things that don't align with your goals. Super good. It's super good. When you create an awareness over that, it's easier for you to make decisions. And then we have plan your days efficiently, set deadlines, structure your tasks, balance work, rest, and fun. Based on this, that's when you can plan your whole year, or when you can plan your week, your month, your days based on what your priorities are. And for me, these are my priorities. These are the things that make me feel better about myself if I'm doing them. But yeah, this is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I would love to see you on the next one. Bye.